What's up, everybody? Welcome to In the Wings, a Beachmont Players podcast where we talk about all things Beachmont players. Today we have Mary Jo Bissmeyer in the room.
Hello, I'm in the room.
She's in the room where it happens.
As you can tell, Kiya is also here.
Hi.
As per
Singing.
usual. Less exciting than MJ being here.
Yes.
Because this is your first time on the show.
It is.
Yes.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for
Yay.
being here.
Mm.
Yeah.
Kiya, take it away.
So one thing we always kind of like to do starting each episode is to take a step back and look into Beachmont's past and history.
Love that.
So just because we know that every show, every season, every cast is part of Beachmont's ongoing legacy and story. So I went back and looked and saw that around this time, 15 years ago, we were doing a play called Messiah on the Frigidaire by John Culbertson.
I like that name.
I know.
Is it literally about Jesus on
On
top
the
of a
fridge?
fridge?
Pretty sure. Yeah.
Like a postcard of Jesus on like a magnet.
No, Jesus is sitting on the fridge in my vision.
Oh, mine's a Jesus magnet.
That makes a lot more sense.
See, in my brain, which I should have actually Googled what the show was about, but in my brain, it's like, people who see Jesus in like, a piece of toast.
A Cheeto.
Or whatever.
Yeah.
I feel like it's like a smudge on the fridge that looks like Jesus. But I don't, take my word for that because
Well,
I've
this
not
is intriguing because one
looked
title
at it.
sent the three of us in very different
was gonna
places.
say,
It really did.
I also love that we have no idea what the correct
No.
answer is. We will look it up before the end of this episode.
Yes, we will.
Because we have to.
We do have in the internet.
So that was 15 years ago.
15 years ago, and that was directed by Sharon Ann Shelton and produced by Donna Serber.
Oh, I know her.
I know.
Aw.
She's awesome. And then 25 years ago, we were doing You Can't Take It With You by Moss Hart and George S. Kaufman. And that was directed by Ed Spencer and produced by Cheryl Betger.
How crazy is it that 25 years ago is 2000?
Why would you
Insane.
say that out loud?
I think I did that last episode too. I was like,
It's
Wait.
not nice.
what?
I said it's insane.
Yeah. Okay, sorry. But I also interrupted. What show did you say this was?
You Can't Take It With You?
I think that's one of the ones we have old posters for.
We do, I think.
Isn't that cool?
I know. And old programs for it. That's how I know
can't-
what the show dates
You
are.
can't take the Messiah on the Frigidaire with you.
No, you can't.
Because he's a magnet. And he's stuck to the fridge.
And or a fridge. Or actually Jesus. Who's to say?
He's in
Or
his place.
maybe all three. Who knows?
Who knows?
Somehow.
Yeah.
I don't know how, but
We're going to write a play by the end of this.
I love it.
so yeah, I don't know. It's just kind of fun to think about how much has changed, not just in the shows that we choose, even though I would totally revive the Messiah on the Frigidaire one. I'm just intrigued by that one. But also just in the people and the performances and the way that theater has shaped each and every one of us over the years, which brings us to Beachmont's next
segue.
cabaret. I
Heck
know.
yeah.
So Beachmont's going to be doing a cabaret called Measure a Year. And so Mary Jo, as producer, I was hoping you could tell us what is Measure a Year and how did the idea for it come about?
Well, first of all, I am a co-producer.
Ooh.
Yes, thank
I
you.
don't mean to
the-
correct the host,
the
but
credit.
Michael Yerrick is helping me produce this.
That's me.
That
It's
is
him.
You're not only correcting a host, but you're also like vouching for one.
Oh
Also.
my God, I'm turning you against each other.
Wow. Infighting.
Yes, you're welcome. So Michael and I are both producing this cabaret. It's called Measure a Year, directed by Dan Cohen. The theme is exactly what it's called, Measure a Year. So we have all songs that include lyrics about measurement of time and or themes about the measurement of time. So we have things that, that mention a month, or things that mention nostalgia, or dreams of the past, or dreams for the future. I think it's really cool because it sounds like a very specific theme, but it's actually pretty broad. So
Yeah.
we get a lot of different themes in the music that the performers have chosen. And the cool thing is a lot of the performers chose their own music. Some of them did ask for some help or some feedback and did a little bit of adjusting. But for the most part, people saw the prompt and brought the music that they wanted to sing. And so it's cool to see how a concrete but flexible theme like Measure a Year can be interpreted in so many different ways and bring so much good music to a performance.
Sure. Sorry. You I don't know if we're going to hear this on the recording or not, but there's a dog going crazy next to us.
Really
She's our
cute.
unofficial fourth guest, Allie
I
Yerrick.
don't know. Wait, Allie, do you have anything to say to the people?
You don't smell very good, people. She's not impressed.
She doesn't make sounds, but I hope we got the sniffing in the microphone because that would be very fun. She's also formally sitting at the table right now. Like she's like, I'm here.
Yeah,
I'm ready
she's
for my
trying to
close
share
up.
my mic.
I wonder if we
Trying to share
can.
my mic.
Can we like?
Get a picture.
Get a photo of it.
Yeah, and have this be.
Oh yeah, here you go.
She's very cute, you guys. You may or may not have to take our words for it. There may be photo evidence.
Incredible. Okay, back to the cabaret.
Back to Measure a Year.
It
Anyway.
is- and it does include the songs you're immediately thinking of. Seasons of Love is in fact going to be one of our big numbers in the show.
Which is where, just in case anybody isn't aware, is where Measure a Year, the lyric, comes from
Right.
Seasons of Love.
How do you measure a year?
Exactly. Now imagine 10 wonderful local performers singing that all together in front of you live with a wonderful accompanist in a
Yeah.
beautiful cabaret environment. Don't you just want to come?
I would want to come.
And
I
enjoy
would want to
that?
come to both locations that it's happening
Come to
at.
all 4 events.
Cough,
Yes.
cough. We'll get to that.
Yes.
I'm pulling up all the details just in case you ask me questions that I don't know the answers to. Just
We
so
should-
you know.
Well, while we're talking about it, let's throw out the details real quick because that's important. So
Sure, which details do you want to know?
Well, specifically, the cabaret is happening, like I said, at 2 locations. So we've got the 4th and the 5th at Epiphany United Methodist Church in Loveland, Ohio. And then we're going far away because we want to geographically be super, well, what's the word I'm looking for? We just want to be available to people from far and wide. So the second weekend, 11th and 12th, is happening at Footlighters, the Stained Glass Theater.
In Covington.
Covington,
yeah. So from
Kentucky.
Beachmont, we're traveling to Loveland and then Covington and then back home. So all of those shows start at 7 o'clock.
Heck yeah.
And you can get tickets on our website, beachmontplayers.org. And yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But we got to hear more about this
Oh, of
cabaret.
course.
I don't know if the people are sold just yet. Or maybe they just want to hear more because it's really exciting and the people that are in it are so good.
I'm kind of curious. Has there ever been a moment in either of your lives that's like just moved at a snail's pace, and then one that's like really sped up, and you're like, no, stop, please slow down.
I feel like a lot of times it feels really slow in the moment, and then after it's gone, feels like it went by really quickly. I'm thinking things like grad school.
Went
Anybody-
by
exactly.
so quick.
Exactly.
Like in hindsight. But at the time,
Felt like it would last
oh my
forever.
God, yeah, Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was immediately what mine jumped to also. I was like, man, when you're in school, you're like, this is never going to end. I'm never going to graduate. This is insane. And then as soon as you get out, you're like, take me back.
Yeah.
Take me back.
All of your career stretches in front of you, and you're like,
Oh, absolutely.
relatively not that much time.
Yeah. And I also feel like when doing a show, the time leading up to it, it feels like it's like, I don't know. There's a certain point in every show process where it's like, oh my God, that show's so far away. We got nothing to worry about. And then you hit this new point where you're like, oh my God, we don't have enough time, right? So it's like your perception of, I don't know how.
Sure.
It's honestly a stress perception, right? Like,
Yeah.
how stressed are you? That's how slow or fast it is gonna be.
How many things do I have to accomplish in how much time?
Yeah, and if it feels like a lot to accomplish, things are gonna go by quick. If it feels like you don't have much to accomplish, then it's gonna take forever.
Yep.
Yeah. Or if you're like excited for something, that's going to take forever. So this cabaret is going to take forever to get here because I'm so excited.
Well, I do have a cheesy answer too, which ties back into the themes. Here's my cheesy answer. And it's funny because I was just telling you guys about my nephew, who's my favorite thing in the universe. The first thing that popped into my head, actually, when you asked that question, was when I first met him when he was a newborn, and we went down to visit them where they were living in Florida, and I rocked him to sleep one day. And it was just like me and him in his dark little nursery, and I was in the rocking chair, and I was just rocking my little baby nephew, and I was like, this moment could last forever, and that would be okay. That would be okay. And I think that weighs heavily on nostalgia and how time kind of imprints itself on us, and those periods in time really are sometimes very well defined in our brains. And I think that's one of the themes that are touched on by some of the songs that the performers brought to the theme of Measure a Year is that nostalgia piece, which is really cool.
Speaking of the songs, can you give us a little teaser as to what potentially we can expect?
So I don't want to hijack your podcast, but I had an idea.
Yes.
Please.
My first idea was to clear my throat. The second idea was, what if I name a song and you tell me if you know where it comes from?
Okay.
Okay. They
no,
both, just so you know, they both just sat up.
Because we got stressed.
No,
we got stressed.
no,
We're
we
like,
also
we're
just
look...
got very competitive.
Oh, no. This is a team sport.
No, I know.
We get them together or
There
we
you
don't.
go.
Okay.
And here's the fun thing. Here's the caveats I'll give. Not all of the songs are musical theater songs.
Okay.
I won't give you guys those ones to guess, although I might anyway, because you'll know the singer. Sure. And at least one of the songs, maybe two or three, I think I would be willing to put a good amount of money on that not only have neither of you heard of them, but I think maybe no one else in the city has heard of them either.
So how many can we get wrong before Dan revokes our board privileges? Because we don't know enough.
Well, there's
theater.
20 to pick from.
Okay.
I won't give you all 20. We'll be here all day.
Sure.
But let's see what you guys can get. We're going to start with Journey to the Past. I thought this was an easy one.
So my impulse says Anastasia, because in that show she loses her memory, and then to revisit those memories you have to journey. But I don't know the songs from that show well enough.
Well, I could tell you, Mike, you're exactly correct.
Am I correct? Oh, heck yeah!
Did you guys not watch the movie as a kid?
I did not.
Oh my gosh, I'm judging you both.
I sang
right now.
one song from it once, and it was very beautiful. But I don't know. Heck yeah! Look at me go.
There you go. 1 point.
Point Mike.
For Mike.
Sorry, it is a competition now.
Now that he's winning.
So, yeah,
now that he's winning.
How it works.
How about I Miss the Mountains?
Who in a theater context, like from a show that we know, would miss mountains?
Here's a hint. They're metaphorical mountains. Please don't imagine the setting.
Metaphorical mountains.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Like mountains as in highs and lows.
I miss the mountains.
I miss the highs and lows.
I miss the highs.
I don't have the highs and lows anymore because I'm going to butcher this word, psychopharmacologist. You guys are really letting me down.
You just made it harder.
Somebody who would miss the highs and lows because they're taking their medication that their psychiatrist prescribed them. Do you guys know Next to Normal?
No. Dang
I really thought you guys... Okay, here. Okay.
Okay.
You're really going to let me down if you don't get this one. A Moment in the Woods.
Into the Woods.
Into the
you.
I
Woods.
said it first. I win.
Thank you. Thank
Do you know
you.
who sings that, Kiya? Which character?
The baker's wife and
That is
Cinderella's prince.
Correct. Yep.
That is correct.
That's extra credit. I'm up to 2.
Woods.
How about Morning Person?
Oh, Shrek.
There you go. Song of Purple Summer.
Spring Awakening.
Oh,
baby.
Kiya.
Ilsa sings it.
Kiya. How about Summer in Ohio?
Last
5 years.
I'm going to give that one to Kiya.
Sure.
Partially for pity. How about, Somewhere That's Green?
That's from Little Shop of Horrors.
Yes, sir. You guys know 3090?
Tick, tick, boom.
Good call. Good catch.
We are doing almost all of these. So what I'm trying to kind of illustrate by jumping around here is some of these are classics. Like, you guys know More I Cannot Wish You is from... It might be too old for your times.
Oh, no.
From Camelot,
Okay.
Oh.
right?
Okay.
So some classics. We also have a song from Mac and Mabel, which is a show that I'm not familiar with at all. You guys know Mac and
I
Mabel?
haven't heard of that either.
There's also a song from a musical version of a movie from the 80s with Whoopi Goldberg in it.
Sister Act?
No.
Color-
Okay.
No, you don't know that this musical exists, I promise you.
My brain went to Rat Race. Is there a Rat Race musical? Because that would be so dope.
Imagine that we're making pottery.
The Ghost. The
Yeah.
Ghost.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
Really?
I did know that
Did you
musical
know that?
exists. Yes.
Well, there's a song from it in this cabaret.
nice.
Yes, yes,
Interesting.
yes. There's also a couple of Frank Sinatra covers.
Nice.
There's some music from very modern, very recent musicals, some
Sure.
from classics, some non-musicals. And again, the themes are as variable as the performers are and as variable as the songs are. And I think it's really cool because it's a little something for everybody to connect with and sink their teeth into. Lots of different opportunities to resonate. So.
Yeah. Oh, I love that.
And the performers, if I can keep bragging about
Oh my
them,
gosh,
Yes,
please
please.
do.
it's 10 different local performers. We have a handful who've never done anything with Beachmont, a lot of people who work with a lot of different companies around the city. The youngest one is, I believe, 24. The oldest one, I won't tell how old he is, and that should tell you about how old he is because I'm trying. Is that rude? I don't think that's rude.
No,
It's me trying to be polite.
Yeah.
He's very good, and he's been on the scene for a long time. I think people are going to know him and be excited to see him performing again, and kind of everybody in between. So we're really excited to bring them all together and to give them all an opportunity to pick some songs to really sink their teeth into. And they really do. I was sitting at some of the individual rehearsals we've had over the last week or so, and they really are not just vocalists, they are performers. Like, they are really getting into the characters for the 4 minutes that it takes to sing this song, and I've had goosebumps a couple times, and people are really giving it their all, and it's really exciting to see. So I'm
and
excited.
That's super helpful because, like, pull a song out of a musical and without the you got to get the context somewhere. So,
Yeah.
yeah, that's why we get star performers who can give us that in the midst of the song.
Yeah. Even if you can't get the plot from the song by itself, you absolutely get the emotion,
Oh,
and that's what people resonate with anyway. So it's really cool. They're doing a great job.
Yay.
Very proud of them.
We love that. Mike, isn't one of your coworkers in it?
Laurie Schneider Brinkman.
Nice.
Heck yeah.
Yes.
She does a great job.
Laurie is who I would need to credit for, like, all of my involvement in the community theater scene in Ohio so far.
Oh.
Because if it wasn't for Laurie, I wouldn't have, auditioned for 12th Night at Loveland Stage Company, which got me connected in all the other places on the planet, right? And how I ended up at Beachmont. So yes, that's a very exciting, like, sort of tie-in. And we're performing the first weekend at the church where we both work. So that's also super special because I know that there's quite a few church members that would love to see Laurie in her element, at the church, right?
And she really is. She's singing 2 songs that are sung by characters that she's played before. So she came into it with all of that pre-work done.
Oh,
like pre-work for the whole show that gets crammed into one song. So it's like even more character. And she did such a good job even at our rehearsal. So I'm really excited to see her perform.
Well, and those are performances of hers that were very notable at the time too, right? I think because I know that she's singing Somewhere That's Green from Little Shop, and I believe somebody's gonna have to correct me on this if I'm wrong, but I believe that when Laurie played the role of Audrey in Little Shop, that went all the way to state and then national, or they were wanting to excerpt that at nationals or something.
That's so cool.
But like the cast couldn't afford their plane ticket, right? Like 'cause that's expensive as all
Yeah.
get it. But that thing was like cleaning up at the time, so you know that it was incredible.
Yeah.
And now you get to see that throwback performance, which is really fun.
Yeah. And Laurie does a great job. I'm really excited to see her. And that's just one of our awesome performers. So imagine they're all that awesome. So very exciting.
Yeah.
And if I can, again, tell me if I'm hijacking your podcast,
not at
but
all.
to kind of touch on what you were saying about community and like getting involved in the community and then just like bouncing around and getting to know everybody. We have absolutely been, I think, very upfront about like, this is a fundraiser and we're trying to help out Beachmont and get back on our feet and make some money. And the amount of support we've gotten from both Epiphany United Methodist Church and other community theater groups in our area has been so heartwarming to me. It's like one of the best things that has happened so far working on the cabaret. So we have, not only are we being hosted by Footlighters for the second weekend, they're also providing a lot of other technical and behind the scenes support for the whole production as well. We're also borrowing chairs for Footlighters from Village Players. So we've had a lot of support. I think we said we needed help and the theater community showed up both by coming to perform and providing a lot of production support for the project. So it's very exciting.
Yeah, and for those concerned about the rules. Epiphany's also the awesome entity that's provided our accompanists and the licensing that gives us the ability to perform these songs, right? For a fundraiser. We are doing things by the book. We are just blessed that, Epiphany is willing to come alongside and be like, yes, we are going to get you the permissions to be able to do this,
Absolutely.
right? So,
Absolutely.
that's really exciting, too.
Just how we had that flexibility to pick all these great songs.
Exactly.
Yeah. Or let people pick them.
Right. Right. Absolutely.
Mary Jo, I'm curious. I know you've produced other shows in the past, but those have been, full length, like full scale productions. So I'm just curious from your experience, how is producing a cabaret different?
Yeah. Well, there's fewer moving parts because, there's no set. So there's no set building or decor or painting. We don't have any props. What else? We don't need costumes. So a lot of the production side of things, there's just fewer people to coordinate and because there's fewer jobs to do. But there are still plenty of jobs to do, which is why I'm so glad I have Mike working with me.
Yes.
And Dan, the director, is a great support as well. I've foisted some things off on him too. And again, working with Epiphany has helped fill some of those gaps in. Working with Footlighters is helping fill some of those gaps in. So we've had a lot of support. There's fewer rehearsals, so a little less coordinating there. Fewer rehearsals is something we're able to get away with because all the performers are such professionals and in their game and choosing their own material. And so they're really invested in it and kind of bringing their A game. So I don't know if that's a concise answer to your question, but fewer moving parts and so fewer people to coordinate and also fewer people doing things, but getting a lot of support.
So it's really interesting. I moved here from Florida, and the city that I was in Jacksonville, currently a lot of the community theaters are kind of sharing the same spaces because, they had to become nomadic for different reasons or, following COVID, a lot of spaces couldn't afford their spaces anymore and stuff. And I just think it's honestly really cool to see groups kind of like sharing spaces and sharing resources because that kind of cuts at the heart of all of this, right? It's like, oh my gosh, we are a community and we're about making art. And if one of us fails, we all want to step in and help, right? And I think that's kind of cool. And I do feel like you mentioned this earlier, but it's kind of like what's happening right now. Like we are the Beachmont Players, and we're doing shows in Loveland. We're doing shows in a Newport area, right? Because those are the groups that are like reaching out that don't want to see Beachmont fail, right?
Yeah.
And I just think that's really cool, like super, super cool.
Yeah, we're very grateful, and it's a cool thing to be a part of.
So in terms of logistics, is it going to be live music or is it going to be all pre-recorded tracks?
It is live music, and it's excellent live music. Fortunately, we're working with Josh Toth. Apologies, Josh, if I'm mispronouncing your last name. I can spell it. I know your email. Pretty sure it's Toth. We like Josh.
We love Josh.
Josh, we're very fortunate to have had Josh with us for most, like 90% of our rehearsals so far, which is fantastic.
That's
and I know the
awesome.
performers really appreciate that they're able to work with the same person they're going to perform with. So they have been very collaborative, talking about tempo and any changes they need to make, making sure everybody feels comfortable. Josh is fantastic pianist. He's awesome. He also has this really cool machine that he can hook up to his iPad where he's got a foot pedal that'll turn the pages for him in the sheet music.
What?
I'm not saying that's my favorite thing about him because he's a cool guy, but it might be my third favorite thing about him. It's a really cool machine, and we made him talk about it a lot when we first saw him using it. But he also picked up 20 different songs.
I was about to make that
very
comment.
quickly.
I'm like,
yeah.
So for our first cabaret, it was kind of one of those things. We're like, we're gonna get 2 accompanists because that feels like a lot of music. Josh was willing to just kind of take it all on, which is incredible.
Yeah.
You know?
And so far there have been 2 songs where we got to a rehearsal and he's like, okay, I'm not great at this yet. And then he did a great job.
Great
yeah. Oh, you missed one chord, he's fantastic. And some of the songs are, to put it gently, not songs you'd bring to an audition, right? Like not things that you want to throw at a pianist.
Well, we've already mentioned Sondheim and a Jason Robert Brown piece, which are literally the notorious, do not audition with either of those because they put your piano player through the ringer. So,
there's several. And one thing that Dan and I did, which I think was absolutely the right move was Dan put the songs in the order that he wanted, and we discussed it, went back and forth, and then I was like, let's show it to Josh. Because he might have an opinion about which songs he doesn't want to play back to back.
Sure.
And he had already told us, hey, this is one that would be nice to have a slow song after it. So, so we got his okay and got the set list all lined up, and we're really, really grateful to have him working with us. He's going to do a fantastic job. So
yeah, and I think we mentioned this earlier, but we've got solos, group numbers, duets also. So it's not just a bunch of one-offs. Like we've also got a couple duets thrown in there, which is exciting.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So
I love that.
Yeah, and I think that we've done a good job of arranging them in an order that kind of shows off the variety, not just in tempo and style, but also in the theme. So you get some songs that'll hit you with nostalgia, and then you get some songs that'll hit you with celebration of a wonderful time and looking forward to the future. And you'll get some songs that are about reflection, some about specific moments, some about like bigger dreams. So it's a pretty good variety, and I think something that everybody will find something to resonate with.
Absolutely.
So. Yeah. We love those journeys.
To the past?
Yes.
From Anastasia?
Ooh,
yes.
From Anastasia.
I want to do a silly question because I love those. So, if you could measure last year in something other than minutes, what would it be?
The amount of times I've come home and cried after work. Just kidding.
That's so
Just kidding. I'm totally kidding.
That's so
Listen,
sad.
first thing
We
that
were
popped into my
plugging the
brain-
church earlier.
That was the first thing that popped into my brain. Okay.
Well, so you wouldn't be
kidding.
counting very high, is what you're saying, if that's what you were counting your year.
I would be counting.
It was a short
low.
year.
short year.
When you brought that up, I was thinking the highlights for me and the things that might help me keep time are the amount of times I got to relax in my hammock.
Ooh, okay.
Or maybe the times that I ate a meal that was really exciting to me.
It's
you know
far
what I mean?
more wholesome than my answer.
I also thought about the number of songs that got stuck in my head, or like that I played on repeat.
Ooh, yes.
Sure.
Yes. I love that.
I feel like I could easily like time out a year and like the amount of times my dog has peed, like 3 times a day.
Very regular.
Every day. That would be a very good track of time, right?
Yeah.
I'm like morning, afternoon, evening, boom.
How often I buy salsa.
Yeah. Episodes of Survivor that I've watched.
There you go.
How about you, Kiya?
Yeah.
I mean, going off the pet thing, so I have to give my cat a pill every day. So
Yeah, I did it once. It's an adventure.
Oh, it really is.
I think my brain interpreted this question as like, if you're trapped in a room with no concept of time whatsoever, how are you keeping track of the days? Which is a much more morbid version of the question.
How often I get sleepy.
True. For 1 day per sleepy.
Good question.
Yeah.
It's a great question.
It's a fun question.
Yeah. Normally we I don't know if you know this, MJ. Normally, we try to end this with like, if you were to cast the show that
Disney
you're working
cast
on
it or Muppet cast.
Right. Like, I always think Toy Story is a great one. Like, if you're to cast the show
It's a good one.
I'm trying to think.
And you would have, there's a lot of toys in Toy Story, and
Yeah.
there's 10 different performers in that. So,
Sure.
they're all working together.
I'm trying to think.
It's been a while since I've seen Toy Story. I'm not gonna lie.
I'm trying to think. I'm like, what immediately comes to mind? Somewhere that's green would be really funny for Rex, the T-Rex in Toy Story, because he's green. Get it?
Song of Purple Summer, sung by
Bo Peep.
I forgot. We were in Toy Story. I was gonna say Barney the big purple dinosaur. I forgot we were in Toy Story.
Yeah.
I was just thinking of purple characters.
Dude, Song of Purple Summer makes me cry every time I listen to it. I love
So
that
I
song.
think, and Dan will correct me if I'm wrong, I think he picked this theme because he knew that people could bring a lot of different good songs to the theme, but also because he loves that song and wanted them to sing it in a group. And it's also the one, if I can give you a little insider baseball here, when we did our first group rehearsal and we learned Seasons of Love and Song of Purple Summer, we spent about an hour and a half on Song of Purple Summer and about 20 minutes on Seasons of Love.
Yeah.
Because everyone knew Seasons of everyone knew Seasons of Love. Am I saying that right? I feel like it's not even the title anymore.
yeah.
Yes. Everyone knows it. And so he's like, sing the song. And then they sang the song. Versus Song of Purple Summer, there's like harmonies and more complex things to figure out.
I'm going to go into this because it's like one of the coolest theater experiences that I've had. So my thesis project was Spring Awakening. I played Mortz in the show. And the director directing it, Jesse Zhao, incredible director, has directed a lot of stuff in New York, got his directing degree from Yale. Anyways, genius, brilliant. So that whole show, he kind of like, I'm going to butcher this too, but he like thematically made it about, the sort of like entering into adulthood that they're pushing on these children, right? So Song of Purple Summer, last song of the show, he made it this sort of like graduation ceremony. So like throughout the show, artistically, the adults all wore sunglasses and the kids didn't wear glasses. So then when they graduated in Song of Purple Summer, they were handed their sunglasses to like basically represent, hey, you're becoming an adult now. And those kids that like were rejecting that would like refuse their sunglasses and run off, right? And it just like, it was one of the most beautiful things because it like symbolically like made that journey of like, these adults, when you become an adult, you like lose sight of a lot of things. So that's why they had the sunglasses. Anyways.
That's very cool.
Incredible. So
it is a beautiful song. And not many people in the room knew it when we went to learn it.
Wow, that's surprising.
Or if they knew it, they were just kind of familiar with it. But a lot of people straight up didn't know it.
Yeah.
And so at first they were like, ooh, this is actually kind of complicated. And then as they sang through it more and learned the parts, me just sitting in the back of the room, I was hearing them all whispering to each other, this song's really cool. Yeah. I'm really excited to sing this. I can't wait to learn this. So I don't want to put words in their mouth, but those are the words I heard in their mouths. And so, so it's a beautiful song, and it closes our cabaret as well. So that'll be one to look forward to bring everybody together after they all told you their own stories and leave you with something beautiful.
I love that so much.
Yeah.
Okay, just so we don't forget, please tell us when and where the shows are one more time.
Of course. So it's the same cabaret being shown in 2 different locations on 2 different weekends. So either place you come, you're seeing the same wonderful show. You could come see it twice if you want. It'll be wonderful both times.
Or 4 times.
Or 4 times, technically. I mean, you could. Yep. So the first weekend, April 4th and 5th, is at Epiphany United Methodist Church in Loveland. That's at 7 o'clock. Second weekend, April 11th and 12th, is at Footlighters, which is is it Newport or Covington? Did I lie last time?
So it's really close to the Newport Aquariums. That's why I say
probably Newport
okay,
then.
Yeah.
That does make logical sense. So the second weekend, April 11th and 12th at Footlighters in Newport. That's also at 7 o'clock. You can get tickets at beachmontplayers.org. And again, just to shout out to all the wonderful groups and communities that are helping us put on this production, including Epiphany, including Footlighters, including Village Players, including everybody in the community that shows up for Beachmont when we ask for them to show up for us. And we really appreciate it.
Yay. MJ, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me.
This has been so fun to talk about.
I know.
This is also like a passion project of a lot of ours, right? Like getting Beachmont back in a financially good and stable place. So, so I love getting to talk about it. So.
And sharing wonderful music and building community.
Yeah.
And also making money, but
don't
forget those things.
No, you're right. Not to be too blatantly direct.
No, it is cool. It is cool. And it's a cool opportunity for the performers too to bring a piece that they really care about and work on. Just that one piece and bring that theme and that emotion to the audience. We're excited.
This has been another episode of In the Wings, a podcast production telling you about all things Beachmont Players. If you'd like to get involved with us or see what else we've got going on, please don't hesitate to reach out. You can do so via our website, beachmontplayers.org. Link in the description. Until next time.
You're still listening, and I think I know why. Messiah on the Frigidaire by John Culbertson. The small town of Elroy, South Carolina is thrust into the evangelical spotlight when what seems to be the image of Jesus appears on a refrigerator in a trailer park.
I knew it!
The discovery by Luann Hightower, her husband Dwayne, and her best friend Betsy sets into motion a frenzy of conflict, communion, and good old-fashioned commerce. When the National Investigator turns the appearance into front-page headlines, their trailer park becomes a mecca for miracle seekers, soul searchers, and disciples with a decidedly political agenda. At the urging of the town business leaders, Betsy pretends to get messages from the appliance-based apparition, and the crowds multiply like loaves and fishes. Through the ordeal, the three undergo an evolution in their relationships with each other, and they are forced to come to grips with their lowly status in the caste system of the rural South. In a region where religion is as much a part of life as grits and cotton fields, God surely moves in mysterious ways.